Welcome in, everybody, to another Wildcat Weekly Coaches Report here on the Linfield Sports Network. Joe Stewart with you, and with me, as always, head men's basketball coach Shanan Rosenberg. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing well. Good to be home.
Excellent. It definitely is, because it was a long road weekend up in Tacoma, but you guys came away with 2 wins, now improving to 10-3 on the season and 4-0 in conference play. Big wins against PLU and especially at Puget Sound as well. But starting with that PLU game, it was not the best performance from your team all season, but they were able to pull out the win in the end. What do you think were the adjustments made in the second half where the guys really started playing at their level of basketball?
Yeah, I mean, it was a physical game, bit of a bully game, I think, for a while, and took a little while to settle in with that. We had a few guys that just didn't play well, period. And then other guys, I think, that they kind of held it together. And, finally down the stretch, I just think it was a sloppy game in many ways. Way too many unforced turnovers. And turnovers kill the spirit of a team. And when you turn it over that much, I think it affects other parts of the game. Fortunately down the stretch, we were able to recover and stretch the game out. I think a lot of that just had to do with the leadership and deciding that we weren't going to lose in that moment. But it's the way it is. We could have and maybe should have played a better game, but we found a way to win, and we have to feel good about that.
Certainly. And then you pulled it off again the next night at Puget Sound when down at halftime. A really rough shooting first half for the Cats, but then totally flipped the script and put together what I thought was one of the best halves of basketball you guys have played all season there in the second half. What did that say to you about this team's resiliency and how they were able to really completely turn it around in that second frame?
Yeah, I mean, I was, Friday I was upset and visibly upset, and the guys felt the wrath of me being upset.
Right.
Saturday, we just were missing a lot of good looks, and I thought we were playing hard and doing the right things, and so we just went into halftime, made a few adjustments, and it was really business-like. And we just kind of said, look, we start doing these things, we have a good chance to be successful, we felt. And I think the guys really knew that and rallied around it, and then went out and had a heck of a half.
Definitely, and that was the first win for Linfield at Puget Sound since 2013, and it looked like a lot of the guys were really excited about that, and probably just excited to have a good road weekend and have the record where it is now. What's the confidence like for your players? They seem to be in a great mood all the way around.
Yeah, they've earned the right to feel good, and certainly, but I think they're still hungry, and there's a lot to prove. And while that was a nice all road wins and all wins really, but certainly road wins are positive, and accomplishing something that we hadn't been able to do prior to that point in my tenure. I know the guys were aware of that and kind of got excited about that, but. We're on to Lewis and Clark and Willamette now, and we're not trying to get real high on ourselves on anything. We just, we think we're a good team, and we understand where we are, and but we also know there's a lot of work to be done.
Definitely. Well, last year, of course, when it came to Lewis and Clark and Willamette, the first time around, it went very well. But then when Lewis and Clark came in here last season, they really surprised you guys and came away with a win that not a lot of people were expecting them to get. What do you have to do mentally this week to just take care of business and still feel confident going in, but not to the point where these players are expecting their opponent to roll over?
I mean, certainly, memory. All players and all athletes learn from experiences where they probably underperformed and their opponent played great, and you can get beat by anybody in this league. I think the 2 teams we're playing this weekend are way better than their record suggests, and I don't buy any of that. And we're going to have to be ready to play. I think just so the Lewis and Clark game on Saturday, because I think the 2 teams are quite different. But in that game, there's some things we have to do really, really well, or they can be a potential problem for us.
Well, that'll pretty much do it for us with this edition of the Wildcat Weekly Coaches Report. Again, it is Lewis and Clark and Willamette coming to town for 2 home games for the Cats here in Ted Wilson Gymnasium. If you can't make it down, we'll, of course, have live coverage for you on the Linfield Sports Network. Coach, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.